Well, hello again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Beef Whisper, and welcome back to The Darkest Files. We're going to pick up where we left off. Our continuing investigation of the death of Newman. September 1950.
But on her first case.
Still, functioning free press is simply crucial to the...
Wait, shh, I think she's coming up. But on her first case.
Still, functioning free press is simply crucial to the...
Wait, shh, I think she's coming up. Good morning, Miss Katz. Have you seen the news yet?
Well, you couldn't have been talking about me.
So, what were you saying about these news?
Oh, there's an article in today's Blatt. Have you seen it?
That tabloid?
That might still be too nice a word for them. A filthy rag slandering you with lies, Miss Katz.
They... what?
Sorry. It's typical, really. Whenever we achieve something, they're right there mocking us for trying.
Sounds
Don't
like
even
Fox
give
News.
it a second thought, Miss Katz. It's lies. All of it.
Yep, exactly like Fox News.
If they're angry, it means we're on the right track.
That's the spirit.
So, the dead flies on my desk. Your handiwork.
Oh, I'm so sorry. She must have slipped in when I brought the newspaper.
Cat don't care about ounces. Second suspect will arrive soon. Update Mr. Bauer of the latest conclusions after the second interrogation. We received some files that should have contained the information Mr. gave it to us for. Sadly, they were badly burned during the bombing. I hope they can still be of use. You were right about the NSDAP bureaucracy. They kept track of everything. I pulled a list of weapons that were issued to our group members around the time of the crime. I don't know how it's possible the previous prosecution overlooked this. I found Schwartz's order, and it turns out it referred specifically to John Naumann. The case of John Naumann, Lloyd Single, Abster Marev, 12, Munich, arrested on 28th of April 1945, currently in NSDAP's district office custody. For his involvement in treasonous activity, the prisoner is to immediately execute as traitor to the German nation. Prisoner John Naumann was recognized as the perpetrator of an organized operation deliberately aimed at weakening resistance against the forces. Prosecutorial misconduct. Hessian General Prosecutor Herr Bauer's problems continue as his special division once again finds itself in the spotlight. Concerns are being raised regarding the possible misuse of public funds, which, as some claim, are currently being wasted on reopening long-since solved cases. According to our sources, such investigations are further compromised by the inexperience and overzealousness of the team's younger prosecutors. Red fault is Khrushchev's policy of destalinisation continues. Moscow's influence seems to shrink with each passing day. Last year, Vladislav Gomulka was still a political enemy of the pro-Soviet regime, imprisoned for subversive actions. Yesterday, he was appointed as first secretary of the Polish United Workers' Party, joining Hungary's Minister Imre Nagy as yet another openly anti-Stalinist head of an Eastern Bloc country.
Yes, Paula?
The witness you asked me to contact, Karl Schickert, just arrived.
Thank you. I'll be joining you in a minute.
Alright. Let's go talk to more Nazis.
Mr. Schickert, I didn't expect you yet.
Arriving on time means you're 15 minutes late.
That's the way I was raised.
I'm glad you're so cooperative. Thank you for coming. My name is Esther. I am the prosecutor in charge. I'll cut right to the chase. What happened on the 28th of April back in 45?
So, you're finally reopening the case, aren't you?
Yes, we do. There are questions that have to be resolved.
It is time for some gentlemen to answer for what happened back then.
Just to be clear, you are referring to?
Kiebitz and local group leader Faltmann.
So, your superior and your colleague. What had happened?
On that day, Faltmann, Kiebitz and I had captured an alleged insurgent. We had taken him to the district office and locked him in a cell. It was an old man.
Was his name Hans Naumann?
It's more than 10 years ago. I'm pretty certain that this was his name, yes.
Please describe the situation.
Shortly after, the two men came out. Pointing to the cells, the district leader gave the command.
Spending entire days in the damp cellar. He must have been bored and tried to pass the time. Can you tell me more about your local group?
We mainly wrote reports and helped in the district where help was needed.
Reports. I heard it said like that.
What kind of command?
He ordered us to shoot the prisoner.
How did you and Mr. Kiebitz get along? You both held the same title?
Mr. Kiebitz. Yes, we both were local group members. We did not get along so well.
How was working with Mr. Faltmann?
A power-hungry bully who kisses his boss's butts and belittled his subordinates. And that's if you were on his good side. Let's say his threats shouldn't be taken lightly.
Interesting. I should ask Paula if she can find any information about this. How was working under District Leader Schwarz?
He was a strict man with defined values. Easy to work under because he was so organized and knew the strengths and weaknesses of each member.
How did you fit into this local group?
I have always proudly done my duty. I oversaw security.
Were your group's actions documented?
Certainly, but that wasn't my task. District Leader Schwarz took care of it. But most of those files were destroyed, unfortunately.
If somebody did stay with Schwarz, it could have been documented somewhere. For how long did Mr. Faltmann talk to Mr. Schwarz?
It was just a short meeting, maybe for a couple of minutes.
That's not what Faltmann said.
Were there any other prisoners at that time?
No, the old man was the only one that day.
Was it common for prisoners to be executed?
No, we were a local group, not the SS.
How did the members of your group spend their free time?
They went drinking together. Not me, though. I don't drink. I prefer being home early and getting a healthy sleep.
Really?
The district leader returned to his office together with Mr. Kiebitz. Mr. Faltmann asked me to follow him. Together we walked down the corridor to the cell where the old man was kept.
Was your local group in contact with other local groups?
We were in permanent contact with all the other Bavarian groups.
How did you make sure you had enough electricity?
We had a generator for power outages and oil lamps.
Who prepared the cells for prisoners?
A few colleagues from the local group. It did not take much to set up. With a bucket and a mattress, it was done.
What did Mr. Feldman do?
The group leader raised his voice.
Do you remember his words?
He told me to shoot the prisoner.
And did you shoot the prisoner?
No, I did not. The man was clearly innocent.
How did you come to this conclusion?
He was accused of... what was it again? I remember someone mentioned...
Just a second, I have that somewhere. According to this block warden's report, Mr. Naumann had torn down a Reich flag and beaten up the block warden.
Yes, that was it. Look, the man we had captured there. I'd have counted him lucky if he was able to get out of bed every morning. Besides, group leader Feldman himself had said earlier that we had only taken him hostage. Him and Kibitz had hoped that the perpetrator would turn himself in if they held the old man hostage.
Why did they assume that?
Because the perpetrator was the son of the old man. That's what they believed, at least.
So they had hoped the son would come to get his father released?
Exactly.
But you didn't think their plan would work?
Doesn't matter what I was thinking. You can't just go and take a fellow German hostage.
How did your superior take your refusal?
Not well. He yelled, and I argued.
Do you remember your words?
I told him that it made no sense and that we should refrain from doing that. Group leader Feldman then threatened me. He said he'd report me to the Gestapo, that I would be severely punished. Possibly killed.
But you still refused.
I did. I just couldn't do it.
Of course you did.
Just a bucket and that's it?
They were prisoners.
Did prisoners ever stay longer?
A couple of days maximum. They were here for interrogations. I left the room. Outside the cell, I met Kibitz, who was about to enter, a gun in his hand, cocked. The next thing I hear is the shot.
One last extra in.
I can still hear the air raid siren in my head. I remember Mom waking me up Pack your things. Get into the basement. So what you are saying is that Mr. Kiebitz shot him.
He did indeed. I know it.
But why would he do that? What was his reason?
What do I care about his reason? What he did was wrong. That's why I'm glad the case has been reopened. You break the rules, you get punished. That's the way it should be.
We will make sure the right people face the consequences, Mr. Schickert. Thank you for coming in.
The pleasure is all mine. Goodbye, Miss Katz.
Interesting. The suspects contradict each other in multiple aspects. I should see if I can make some sense of this on the blueprint and get this meeting with Peters over with.
Miss Katz, there was a call for you. Actually, it was multiple calls.
Yes, Paula?
It's your mother.
Did she want anything particular?
You'd think so, as she did call 5 times already. But no, she just wanted to talk to her daughter, very urgently.
Of course she did.
Who do I want to call?
Katz.
Mom, what happened? You've been calling non-stop.
Essie, are you all right? We've been so worried.
I'm not the best, to be honest, but
Of course you're not. What was that tabloid rag?
I didn't expect anyone paying so much attention to me. It's disturbing, to be honest.
Would be.
You poor thing. I just hope no one else figured out it was all about you. Oh, how embarrassing that would be.
You can't be serious.
But I am. Very much so, Essie dear. People are confused enough about the origin of your father's name as is. Now, with that article, I'm just afraid of what other people might think of our family.
I see.
But enough of that. Let's focus on the now. I have wonderful news, Essie.
What? You can't just...
I just invited the Müllers for coffee this Saturday.
We were just talking about me destroying our family. And now you want to tell me all about the Müllers?
Oh, don't be like that. You have to come. I'm dying to show off my smart daughter.
Who are the Müllers? Do I even know them?
I don't think you have met them yet. They just moved into the piano floor of the house opposite.
Wait, did the Webers move out?
No, the other house. The Langs. You remember the Langs, right? Thomas Langs. He used to work at the bank. You used to play with their daughter. Black hair, a ponytail, always got her dress dirty. I just can't remember her name.
I really don't know who you're talking about. Anyway, I can't this weekend.
Oh, what a pity. The Müllers are really nice people. And they have this good-looking son.
Of course.
Mom!
All right, just mentioning it. No ulterior motives. Another weekend then. Are you free the week after?
I need to get back to work now, Mom.
A shame. Get back to me soon, will you?
Sure. Bye, Mom.
Goodbye, Esther.
See the case file. The Baldwin claimed that he didn't agree. He didn't agree with it, and that Sheikert was the one who shoot Naumann. Sheikert says that Kibitz shot him, and he was protesting.
Jesus, Katz. I don't have time for our little trial yet, if that's why you're here. Go, sort out your witness first.
I have some questions about somebody.
About whom?
About Mr. Bauer.
Mr. Bauer is a good man, a righteous man, an idealist, very professional, and very good at what he does. Even if he can be a bit difficult to work with at times.
You, actually.
You want to talk about me? Should I feel honored?
I thought we had agreed on something.
Right. What is it?
It's been a while since I've seen you.
Luckily.
How have you been?
You do realize this is the most I've been well enough, Katz. Well enough.
One more question. Thank you. That's all.
I should talk to Bauer.
Miss Katz, I take it your sparring with Mr. Peters went well?
He was very collegial.
Yes, I've heard the two of you don't see eye to eye. I'm glad to see it hasn't proved to be an issue. Now, how's your work progressing?
I've interrogated 2 of our suspects. They contradict each other in almost all of their claims. Can't even agree on who was present for the murder. Yet at the same time, both testimonies share many similarities.
Please elaborate.
They agree on the events, if not on their roles. Both claim Schwarz gave the order, that somebody tried to resist but was threatened, that one of them shot. But was it Schickert or Kibitz? That's where the accounts differ.
To be expected. At least we have a rather reliable timeline. Very well, considering the nature of this investigation, I'd say it's still proceeding apace. 1 suspect left. Hopefully, he will be able to clarify some of our doubts. Either him or the files. Which would leave us with one final issue. Court. Once you've heard the final testimony, you need to prepare to present your case. That means reconstructing the course of the crime and finding proof that would back it. As mentioned, Mr. Peters will help you out. Teach you how to present your findings, prove your claims. It will help you to familiarize yourself with the ins and outs of court. We cannot afford to fail at court, and preparation is the key to success. That's why I urge you to start with your training right away and build your theory. Once you hear from all witnesses, we need to move to court quickly. I hope it's all clear.
Of course.
Ah. Hold on, I better write these numbers down. Oh. 4134. Keep it set an 8. So, Altman had a Walter P38. Kibitz had the 1888 Commission 24. Schickard had the FN Browning 19. Yeah. Let me Schickard is noted as military trained. Kibitz is private. $7.655. Belongs to the FN Browning. It would appear that Schickard is lying, and he is indeed the one who shot him.
Oh, good you're here. Mr. Peters asks me every 5 minutes where you are and when you're coming. Not only Peters' patience is growing thin.
Is everything okay?
I don't want to sound unprofessional, but working with him is a pain at times. Why does he always have to be so rude?
I don't know what his problem is, but I have little hope that it will ever get better.
Well, I hope you're wrong.
Honorable Miss Cutts, would you be ready then?
I think so. How are we going to do that?
I will act as defense and court, and you will do your part.
But have you studied the case well enough to actually help me here?
Yes, I did. Some people have to take their work seriously, you know. Anyway, you present your prosecution, support your conclusions with evidence, and win the case. And I'm trying to stop you from doing just that. Should be a piece of cake. For one of us, at least.
Start presenting your theory of news to the court by pressing play on the blueprint.
His execution was ordered by Herbert Schwarz, the district leader for the city of Munich. As the senior member of the NSDAP involved in the crime, he bears the main responsibility for Mr. Naumann's death. Mr. Schwarz is unfortunately deceased and as such cannot be tried. This does not, however, absolve his subordinates of their culpability.
Objection. According to the witness statement, it was Mr. Schickert who gave the order. Can you support your claims with meaningful evidence?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. If you would take a look at this.
Where is that?
This document clearly states that it was Mr. Schwarz who gave the order.
Not bad, Cuts. But not great either. If that's all the prosecution can come up with, the case is as good as lost. Knowing the right answers is often not enough to win your case. You also need to form the right conclusions. Conclusions the court is willing to follow, because they are plausible, and because you can back them up with evidence. A valid conclusion is always based on several clues. The one clue we are very certain is true is that Schwarz gave the command. So your conclusion should be based on that. Open your case file and give it a go.
For each question, you can create a single conclusion. Click on the first conclusion to create it. Conclusion is a combination of 3 clues that support each other. Great. After completing a conclusion, it will be shown as conclusion prepared in the conclusions menu. Please keep in mind that this does not confirm the correctness.
I think I got it.
This doesn't work.
We have several consistent statements that Schwartz gave the order to shoot. There are no discrepancies in the testimonies. It says so in the files, and Mr. Schwartz stated it himself in 1947. Therefore, I conclude the order to shoot Hans Naumann came from District Leader Herbert Schwartz.
Congratulations. Well done, Katz. If you argued just as coherently in court, this might go better than I expected. However, it was not particularly difficult, and it will probably not be that easy again. Still, well done.
Thank you, Peters.
Enough practice. Your case is waiting. Keep up the good work.
What now?
You should ask Paula to invite the next witness. There is still a lot we don't know.
Next stop, Paula. Peters?
Katz?
Well, at least he was somewhat civil.
Now that was quite an interesting development. Somebody sure is lying. But who? Can't say I envy your job right now, Miss Katz. Apart from that, how can I help you?
I need you to invite a witness.
Of course. Who should I reach out to?
Last remaining witness, Herman Kiewitz.
Just one man left. Hermann Kiewitz.
Will do, Miss Katz.
There's...
Apart from that,
I need some One of the suspects mentioned something interesting about Mr. Feldman. Could you check if there was anything strange happening with his subordinates? Threats, blackmail, anything?
of course. I'll start looking. Anything else?
Are there any updates about the personal files?
I suspect I already sound like a broken record to the Berlin Document Center. Sadly, no news yet, but I will keep you on track once I hear something.
Thank you, Paula. That will be all for now.
Here if you need anything.
Just gonna go through the case file again. I can conclude it was likely Schieker who shot Mr. Naumann based on the caliber of the bullet. But everything else, I don't have enough evidence yet. Last suspect. 4th of October, 1956.
Good morning, Miss Katz. Oh, and there was a letter for you. I left it on your desk.
Splendid. Jewish pig. We know where you live, we know what you do. We are watching. Day and night, we see you. German people have been through enough because of vermin like you. You should have burned with the rest of your kind instead of disappearing, hiding in the gutters where you belong. You once again and attacked us. So hear us, we will burn. We'll finish what we began, done starting with traitor trash like you. Lovely. Last suspect will write. Peters wants to talk to you. Documents from Berlin should be arriving later today. If you need any others, I might still be able to pull a few strings and get them in by the end of the day. I found a letter about Mr. Feldman concerning one of his subordinates in Apple. District Leader H. Schwartz. Concerning the incident, base manager L. Stieg. The suspect was arrested by the Gestapo on 5th January 1955. All ranks that L. Stieg held in the local were revoked from him. L. Stieg is not allowed to join a party and is serving a prison sentence. The base manager's arrest was made possible thanks to the righteous denunciation by his direct superior, whose loyalty to the Reich and his people ended. And I know Haller. Hungary invaded. 9 days after the announcement of Imre Nagy's government by Hungary's revolution, its fate seems to have been sealed as Soviet tanks returned to the streets of Budapest. Hordes of violence continued to flow from around the entire country, with what remained of the Hungarian forces being rapidly eradicated by the invading USSR army. Chairman Nagy's fate, following his unanswered plea to the nations of the world, is unknown. A week after the occupation by the Israeli army, it continued to attack the remaining defense forces in the Sinai Peninsula. Now, on the other side of the Suez Canal, the Egyptian mainland is under constant bombardment by the British and French air forces, although there is no official declaration of war. In London, Prime Minister Anthony Eden insists that the United Kingdom is, quote, not at war with Egypt, end quote. That's probably the 9 days war between Egypt and
Mr. Kibitz has just arrived. He's waiting in a conference room.
Was there anything unusual about this letter? Did you notice anything off?
Off?
Was it brought in normally? Delivered personally? Or, I don't know, anything?
Can't say. It came with the post, like letters do. Is everything all right?
It was a threat letter.
A threat? Oh dear. I'm so sorry.
You're sure you didn't notice anything out of place?
I'm sorry.
Right. I can't let them stop me.
Still, if there is anything I can do, just say the word.
Good morning. My name is Esther Katz.
A pleasure, miss. Could you tell me how long I have to wait for the prosecutor?
Mr. Kibitz, I'm the prosecutor here.
Oh, modern times, I guess. How long will this take?
It will take as long as it takes.
It's all right, miss. I'm just asking.
Let's get started, shall we? This is about the arrest of Hans Naumann in Munich on April 28, 1945. According to a witness, 2 men picked up Mr. Naumann from his apartment. Were you one of them?
You're pretty. You know that?
Mr. Kibitz, were you one of those men?
No, I wasn't. We drove to the house. Then our group leader and Mr. Schickert got out of the car to arrest the men. Then they tossed the old man into the car and headed to the district office.
Please describe the situation.
District Leader Schwarz came out and gave the command.
What command? What did he say?
He ordered us to execute the man. Then he left. I felt uneasy. This wasn't right.
How many people were in your local group?
Around 10, but we were never all present at the same time due to shifts and different responsibilities. 11, 12. No, we were down to 11 then. The Gestapo took Ludolf back in January.
So the Gestapo threat wasn't something new. Why did you relocate the office?
Because of a big air raid. We wanted to be underground. We hoped that we would be safer there.
What were your local group's responsibilities in the very last days of the war?
We were responsible for all concerns and for many households within Munich. Above all, we tried to eliminate insurgencies.
Did Mr. Schwarz even get to see the victim, Hans Naumann?
Not entirely sure. He was in his office when we brought the perpetrator.
The victim?
The victim into a cell.
If Schwarz didn't see the victim, did he know they had the wrong man? What did he know? For how long did Mr. Feldman talk to Mr. Schwartz?
Miss, it was over 10 years ago. I don't remember. Couldn't have been too long, as Mr. Schickert didn't have enough time to really get on my nerves.
How did you and Mr. Schickert get along?
He and I didn't have much to do with each other. We were just part of the same local group. He was no feast for the eyes, a cranky guy, strange. Always strict with his work, but annoying from time to time. He was obsessed with Prussian virtues.
What were your responsibilities in your local group?
Most of the time I accompanied District Leader Schwartz and drove him when he needed a driver. He knew how to convey power and discipline.
How was working under Mr. Feldman?
Great. He was a good leader and a better man. It was a pleasure to work with him. Even if some people might have disagreed, we had our share of malcontents in the group. But he knew how to deal with them effectively.
How was your relationship to Mr. Schwartz?
He treated me fairly and friendly. I learned a lot from him. We followed group leader Feldman to the cell. There was tension.
Were there any other prisoners at that time?
Obviously, yes. We had to put the traitors somewhere. We adapted part of the storage rooms as cells.
Were summary executions common?
In those days, yes.
I can still hear the sirens in my head. They seem to last forever. But it may just have been a minute full of despair, if you survived it. Was your local group in contact with other local groups?
Just in Bavaria, there were 28 local groups. We were in constant contact with them. We all entered the cell.
What was Mr. Feldman doing?
Group leader Feldman seemed to hesitate. He shared my concerns about killing the old sod. He told us to wait.
How did you ensure the energy supply?
The district struggled to produce enough energy. There were frequent power failures. For emergency, we had a generator. If worst came to worst, we used oil lamps. Yet Schickert insisted. He referred to that new order about dealing with insurgents. He was such a stickler for the rules.
Wait a second. These orders you're talking about. Are you referring to this?
What am I looking at here? No, that had nothing to do with it.
Very well. What did he say?
He yelled he would report us to the Gestapo. Faced with this open threat of being denounced, we did not dare to act.
Were the compartments prepared to host prisoners?
Kind of. We adjusted them so our prisoner could stay there for interrogations and not get out.
For how long were the prisoners held in these cells?
Mostly around a week.
Being locked in a cell like this, not knowing what would happen next, this must have been so hard.
The tension was strong. Group leader Faltman ordered us to wait once more, but Schickert drew his gun and shot him.
So what you are saying is Schickert shot the old man against Mr. Faltman's order?
Exactly.
That's horrible.
These are brutal events you're getting to hear here. Are you sure you're up for it? Honestly, no one would think this is a job for a woman. What do you have to prove? I will file a formal complaint.
What would you like to complain about?
About talking to you instead of a real prosecutor.
I see. Well, if you think that's necessary, go ahead. Thank you for your time, Mr. Kibitz.
Goodbye, Miss Katz.
That's all the witnesses. Let's see if I can make some sense of this.
So, I know it doesn't balance out the morning, but there's at least some good news today. One word, Berlin.
Did the document center come through?
Here you go. Personal files for Kibitz, Schickert, and Faltman.
Finally.
Right? Just in time. I know that you have just questioned the last witness. Have you discovered any new leads? With a few calls, I might be able to get hold of a few more urgent documents for you. But I would need to do so right now, and I can't guarantee they'll make it in time.
I might actually take you up on that. There's a chance that Mr. Schwarz did not see the victim himself. If that's the case, my question is, what did he see? What did he know when he ordered the execution? I'm going to need whatever files would have been on his desk on that day. All that he could know about the victim. Arrest report, personal file, records, intake forms, whatever there is.
That's quite a wide net. I'm on it, of course. Anything else?
I better get back to the reconstruction board then. Esther Katz speaking. Hello? Anybody here? Hello? Great. Just what I needed now. Not disconcerting in the slightest.
Herman Kivitz. A soldier, Volksfremden, driver, no criminal record except begging. Karl Schickert, locksmith, military training. Faltman, Taylor, apprenticeship, married, 2 children, son killed in Russia, no criminal record.
With so many smokers here, I doubt this office will ever be free of the cigarette smell. They are supposed to be good for you, though. That's what my doctor said.
Now finish your theory you want to present in court. When you're ready, just talk to Paul as you start preparing the indictment.
Esther Katz?
Essie, it's good to hear your voice. I hope I'm not disturbing you. I didn't like how we ended our last conversation. I know your mother's little parties are hard enough on you already. I shouldn't have brought up your work in the first place. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lose my temper like that.
Thank you, Father, but why does Bauer make you so angry in the first place?
Oh, Esther, you couldn't possibly understand all of it, and nor can he. He wasn't here when it all happened. He didn't see it for himself, live it. He says we should have done more, while he's the one who deserted. For me, it was never a choice to leave. But how should he understand it? His kind never really felt at home anywhere. And now he leads this self-righteous inquisition. It's hard to stomach. With that said, I'm calling because of a different matter. It's close, isn't it, your first trial?
I hope it goes well.
Oh, nurse. I remember that whenever I was feeling trepidation about a case, I would take a long walk by myself. I'd go over every little detail, every question, every step. It usually helped.
Thank you, Father.
But Esther, after the trial... I'm sorry, but please, please, remember what we've talked about. It's not too late to leave. Nobody would think less of you.
I would like to see this through, Dad.
I see.
There's something I need to tell you. I just received a threat letter.
That's much earlier than I'd have expected. I knew Bauer wasn't a good idea.
Earlier? So you expected this to happen?
At some point, yes, of course. We all, or most of us at least, do, when it comes to the really bad cases. Especially in that team of Bauers, I knew it was a bad idea.
What should I do? What can I do?
Nothing to do, I'm afraid. You can report it to the police, but they won't probably be of much help.
Yeah.
It's just a letter. A horrible one, but still, it's just paper. And some ink, I suppose. Nobody would dare to actually act against the public prosecutor. We are civilized.
Ah!
Yes, just like we were civilized 20 years ago.
That's a good point.
Like we're
But
civilized
it's
now?
different. You are a servant of the law, of justice. And for anybody who'd call himself German, that matters. It has to. As for the letter, try not to think about it, as hard as it seems. Personally, I used mine as kindling for the fireplace. No point in holding on to trash. This way it was at least somewhat useful.
This isn't about Bauer.
Right. It's not about his, and by extension your work, upsetting the public. None of this would have happened with Bergmann, Kranich and partners.
Dad, we've been over this.
You're right. But this is just exactly the thing I was afraid could happen. But so much earlier than I thought it would.
Well, I better get going now. Still lots of work to do before the big day.
I understand. I'm always here for you, and also, good luck, Prosecutor Katz.
Trying to get myself prepped. Speaker wasn't there. Wanted to strike. Kivitz wasn't there. There I meant. Who resisted or Need another hint. This way. Dismissed. Decode resist. Naumann was the case manager. Alright, that's everything.
Miss Katz!
And who do you think did it? Any ideas? That's what I thought.
What?
Bad time?
Not like there's any other. But yes. Tell me, Katz, has anyone been to my office?
Not that I know of.
No help, unsurprisingly.
So, what is this about?
Someone was here. Just don't say anything. Someone was here, in my office, going through my documents, through my files, through my cases.
Why do you think someone was here?
I have my ways of knowing.
Ways, of course. Something more specific?
The lamp was moved, if you must know.
A lamp. Moved.
Yes, a lamp. I use it as a paperweight, which means someone went through the documents under the lamp.
That's not good.
Tell me about it.
So, what can we do?
Well, Wait. You believe me? That's a new one. Huh. Thank you. I think. Right. What now? I wish I knew. More locks? I need to at least change the current ones. That's for sure.
What do you have here anyway? What's the case?
All right. It might actually be for the best if somebody else is also familiar with it. Just in case. And it's not like you can be my thief. So what's the harm?
Just in case what? You're making it very hard not to think of you as a paranoid.
Really, Katz? You've already worked here a while. Haven't you noticed yet how it's always the same two men in the car across the street? The same woman with the newspaper under your window? Always just happening to glance up when you look. Or that quiet sound in the background of your phone calls. If you insist on calling that paranoia, go ahead. I just suggest you get a bit more paranoid too.
I'm all ears.
What do you know about the camps?
Enough to know I'd rather not learn more.
If only we had that luxury. Imagine this. Hundreds or even 1,000 prisoners per barrack. A block of those surrounded by electrified barbed wire. Overcrowded, makeshift wooden structures as the only place to sleep. Cold, cramped quarters. Hunger, illness, vermin, death. Children, women, old people, it made no difference. All forced to do brutally hard labor. And worse, then there's the rest of the camp. A moat along the border, followed by 2 layers of, again, electrified fences and walls. Watchtowers along the entire length, of course, with searchlights and machine guns. And here, get to the case. Should anyone try to escape, camp guard were on strict orders to immediately shoot to kill. No warning shots, no nothing. Just kill the prisoner. Any hesitation would be punished. But the number of such incidents is... it's far too high. It just doesn't add up.
All right, so you need to prove they lied. How do you do it?
You're thinking too small. It's not just the guard, not just what they did. It's that they were allowed to do it. Do you really think their superiors didn't know what was happening? Do you think it was some kind of unauthorized behavior? Rest assured, it was very authorized. So yes, we need to prove they lied, that they murdered the prisoners. But more importantly, I, need to prove who knew about it and allowed it to happen. And let me tell you, the suspect list, it's something.
Well, at least we got him to trust us.
Good news. The documents you asked me to track down, I reached out to someone that still owed me a favor. Let's leave it at that. A courier just dropped these off. I hope they prove useful. Let me know once you're ready to go to court.
Better review. Might be something that should anxious. Look at that. Alfred Faltman, and crossed out and added John's name in there. John Faltman knew that they had the wrong man. Secret to buy they were. Faltman from him of Alpha.
Miss Katz, are you finished with the case?
I believe I'm done, yes.
Right. I'll start writing the indictment then. I hope we can get some justice here. Shall we go to court then?
Let's go to court.
Okay. Big day tomorrow.
It's time.
Order. Court is in session. In the case of the German people against members of NSDAP Local Group Munich, the defendants stand accused of the murder of Hans Naumann.
Judge Ernst Braun presiding, with counsel Esther Katz speaking for the prosecution. Counsel Rudolf Scham representing the defendants Kiebitz and Faltmann. And counsel Sigmund Hauptner representing the defendant Schickert.
How do you plead?
Innocent.
It's not guilty.
Not guilty then.
Not guilty, of course. This whole investigation is a farce.
Not guilty, Mr. Chairman.
I call on the prosecution. Miss Katz, it's time to present your theory.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. His name was Hans Naumann. He was 77, retired. Innocent. He had a wife, Mrs. Ludmilla Naumann, whose testimony you've heard today. Together, they lived in a small house in the suburbs of Munich. A simple, small family, like so many others. They had an adult son, Jan. He was staying with them at the time. He wanted to help them around the house. At least till the end of the war, he'd say. On that morning, none of them could know that in only 2 days, their nightmare would be over. 2 days. 48 hours. That is, if not for the accused. Mr. Chairman, on April 28th, Hans Naumann was shot dead. Taken from his house under false pretenses, he was brought to the temporary location of the district office. He was locked in a brewery cellar, a damp storage room adapted into a makeshift cell. That's where, shortly later, he would be killed. His execution was ordered by Herbert Schwarz, the district leader for the city of Munich. As the senior member of the NSDAP involved in the crime, he bears the main responsibility for Mr. Naumann's death. Mr. Schwarz is unfortunately deceased and as such cannot be tried. This does not, however, absolve his subordinates of their culpability.
Thank you, Ms. Katz. Does the defense have anything to add?
No, Mr. Chairman. We agree with the version presented by the prosecution.
See, it was all Schwarz.
That's right, we were just following his orders.
Silence. Mr. Scham, Please remind your defendants of the appropriate behavior in court. Let the record show that the prosecution and defense are in agreement. Let's proceed. Miss Scutts?
The defendants Faltmann and Schickert went to the prisoner's cell.
Objection. As per Mr. Kiebitz's and Mr. Faltmann's testimony, both of them went to the cell, together with Mr. Schickert.
Miss Scutts, can you present it?
Certainly. One suspect whose account we have not heard remains, Mr. Schwarz.
The account of a corpse. What a mumbo-jumbo.
Mr. Faltmann, please refrain yourself from commenting.
Yes, Mr. Schwarz is dead, but he wasn't during the original investigation. In 1947, he testified that at the time of the execution, he was in his office together with his driver, Mr. Kiebitz. At the time, he was in no danger, as opposed to the defendants today. There is no reason to believe he lied.
Miss Scutts, you've proven your point. Objection overruled. Please continue, Miss Scutts.
Having seen the victim, Mr. Schickert began to question the order. As we learned from the testimonies, Mr. Naumann's age and physical frailty were evident. How could this be the man? How could he be guilty? The defendants had arrested him for tearing down a flag from its flagpole and beating up an officer. A tall flagpole, a young officer. Mr. Schickert concluded the man to be innocent. He refused to shoot.
Objection, Mr. Chairman. As both Mr. Kiebitz and Mr. Faltmann testified, the one to question the order was Mr. Faltmann. He had doubted its validity and attempted to stop the execution. Regretfully, he was unsuccessful.
Miss Scutts, if you have any...
Gladly, Mr. Chairman.
I'm not sure I follow your reasoning here. Is there anything else you can provide?
I wanted to use that as evidence.
I remain unconvinced. I can give you one more chance, Miss Scutts.
What am I missing? Okay, hang
A day after Hans Naumann was shot, Mr. Schickert was removed from his station and expelled from the NSDAP. A punishment that follows to the letter the consequences for insubordination, as outlined by Gauleader Solbrig's order.
Indeed, Mr. Scham, your objection is overruled. Miss Katz, if you would.
With the doubts voiced, threats were soon to follow. Threats by Mr. Faltman. He wasn't going to allow for this sort of insubordination. An order was an order. If his co-defendants continued to object, he would report them. And not just to Mr. Schwarz, to the Gestapo. I trust the implications of such a report are clear.
Objection.
Every time, Mr. Scham?
It is his
I
job.
cannot truly be sure any threats were actually made. I can assure you, my client never cooperated with the Gestapo.
Exactly. The Gestapo were a bunch of sneaky sadists. Psychopaths. I've never had anything to do with those monsters.
Silence, Mr. Feldman. Silence. Miss Katz, can you...
Certainly.
I'm not sure I follow your reasoning here. Is there anything else you can provide?
That shows that Falkman was the base leader at the time.
I remain unconvinced.
It says I have the right document. Hold on. Okay, apparently this is the documents that I need to prove at that point.
I can give you one more chance, Miss Cutts.
What?
I still don't see how this serves as evidence of your claims. Objection sustained. Miss Cutts, proceed to your next point.
We've established the course of the crime up to its final moment. Only one question remains, the most important one. Who shot? Who killed Hans Naumann? Defendant Karl Schickert. He might have followed orders. He might or might not have resisted. He might have been coerced. But in the end, the truth remains the same. Karl Schickert shot and killed the victim.
I must object, Mr. Chairman.
Let's hear it.
Mr. Schickert maintains he's innocent, that Mr. Kiebitz and not him was the one to shoot the victim. Two witnesses might agree, but that can hardly be considered enough to prove a man guilty, especially considering the seriousness of the crime.
Miss Cutts, if...
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Naumann's wound was identified as resulting from a 7.65 Browning caliber. Only one of the defendants had a weapon with that caliber. An FN Browning model 1900 was given to the party member number 5186332, the defendant Karl Schickert.
Very well. I consider your claims proven. I have heard enough. Will the defendants please rise? Having considered the testimonies presented today, as well as the prosecution's evidence, this court has reached the following verdict. Defendant Karl Schickert, born January 3rd, 1912, resident of Mauergasse 4 in Munich. This court finds the defendant guilty of the manslaughter of Hans Naumann. The prosecution has proven beyond reasonable doubt that he was the shooter. Mr. Schickert, the prosecution proved you were acting on district leader Herbert Schwarz's official orders. The court considered these mitigating circumstances in this verdict. You are hereby sentenced to 7 years in prison. Defendant Alfred Faltmann, born June 29, 1889, resident of Löwenweg 11, Munich. This court finds the defendant not guilty. No proof of any crime committed by the defendant was presented. Mr. Faltmann, you are discharged. Lastly, defendant Hermann Kiebitz, born August 8, 1905, resident of Schweigerweg 12, Hagelstadt, Munich. This court finds the defendant guilty of perjury. He lied under oath to, it can be assumed, cover for his superior. Mr. Kiebitz, we sentence you to 1 year in prison. The sentence is suspended for 2 years. With that, the cost of this trial will be covered by the defendants. Court adjourned.
Next up. Real case summary contains spoilers for the solution of the case in the game. I want to show the real. I'll let you scroll through that and let you read that in your own time. Not bad. Messed up on one, and which...
The Naumann case. It could seem so small, forgettable. One might almost say insignificant. What is another execution? What is the death of yet another old man? With all that happened, does it even truly matter? They must have thought so themselves. Kiebitz, Faltmann, Schickert. If they thought of it at all. Faltmann made no attempt to hide his satisfaction. He did it. Once again, he was free. He decided to write down his version of the story in the form of a letter. It painted quite a vibrant, if completely untrue, image of his treatment at the prosecution's hand. The letter, censored, of course, was published on the back pages of certain low-circulation publications, those catering to people sharing a similar worldview to Faltmann's. Schickert was raving as they brought him out of the courtroom. So what if he pulled the trigger, he yelled. He followed orders. He just followed orders. What makes a man lie? Friendship, loyalty, fear. Kiebitz wasn't involved in the execution. He could have walked free, pretending his conscience was clear. Could. A funny word. He could have said no. He could have stopped it. All. They all could. Instead, they chose to follow orders. Just follow orders. Everybody just followed orders. One could expect Miss Naumann to be furious with the verdict, but I don't think she had the strength for it anymore. She had spent it all over those 11 years, wasted it, only for justice to fail her once more. For it failed her. We failed her. And as for our miscuts, our work is not easy. More importantly, it is not welcome. We are not welcome. But that's a story for another day.
I want to see if I can try and get the correct answer on this. I swear, I looked at our walkthrough and I selected the right documents, and so it would implicate Hans Naumann.
Esther, come on! You are so bad at this. You have to come loudly. I know. And no peeking.
But I wasn't peeking. 10, 9, 8, 7, 2, 1, 0. Ready or not, here I come. How about in the wardrobe?
Cold, cold.
Where could you be? Maybe under the table?
Even colder.
No fair. It has to be warm somewhere. Are you behind here?
You are so bad at this, Esther.
Stop! It's not fun. Where are you? Lottie, where? Oh, right.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and try that one more time. Hold on, please.
Defendants Local Group. Only 3 months before the events of this case, he was arrested by the Gestapo. While the acts and fate of Mr. Steg are of themselves of no direct connection to this case, I'd like to bring your attention to the beginning of the final paragraph. Mr. Steg was denounced by his direct superior. And who would that be? His local group leader, Alfred Faltmann. Mr. Faltmann may claim he had nothing to do with the Gestapo, but it's a lie.
Thank you, Miss Katz. Objection overruled.
Okay, that was
Miss Katz, proceed to your next point.
We've established only one who shot. Who killed Hans?
Okay, for some reason it accepted those documents this time. Maybe the order or had something to do with it. It was the letter about Ludwig Steg, Faltmann's file, and the list of rankings from the NSDAP.
Defendant Karl he might have fought, but in the end, Karl Schickert shot and killed.
I must object, Mr. Chairman.
Let's hear it.
Mr. Schickert maintains he's innocent. 2 witnesses, especially considering...
Miss Katz, if you...
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Naumann's wound was identified as resulting from a 7 points only one, an FN Browning model 1900.
Very well. The prosecution presents a solid case. Before we proceed, Miss Katz, Mr. Scham, is there anything else you'd like to bring to this court's attention?
Yes, there is, Mr. Chairman.
Isn't.
I'm not sure I follow your reasoning here. Is there anything else you can provide?
Okay, swap this out for Schwarz's transcript of Schwarz's.
I was just following orders. We've heard these words today, more than once. That said orders came from Mr. Schwarz was one of the few points on which the defendants agreed. I'd like to bring your attention to another detail that their testimonies shared. At no point in any of their recollections did Mr. Schwarz himself meet the victim. It is the prosecution's belief that the district leader never knew who the defendants had brought. Schwarz didn't know the prisoner in the cell was not the man they were sent to arrest, that it was an innocent man. He couldn't know because the defendant Alfred Faltmann lied, both to his superior and to this court. Mr. Faltmann knew whom he took. He knew he was not the culprit. He had taken him as a hostage. Yet, to Mr. Schwarz, he reported bringing in Jan Naumann, the culprit. And so, believing his subordinate, Mr. Schwarz ordered the execution of, once again, Jan Naumann. The shooting of Hans Naumann wasn't legal. The defendants did not follow any order. This innocent man was killed only because of the actions, the insistence, the lies and threats of Alfred Faltmann. Mr. Chairman, the prosecution asks you to find the defendant fully culpable for this death.
Some serious accusations, Miss Katz. What motive did the defendant Faltmann have for this?
At this point, I could only make assumptions that have no evidentiary basis.
Thank you, Miss Katz. I will take this revelation into consideration. Having considered the testimonies presented today, as well as the prosecution's evidence, this court has reached the following verdict. Firstly, in the case of the defendant Karl Schickert, born January 3rd, 1912, residing at Mauergasse 4 in Munich, for the crime of the manslaughter of Hans Naumann, this court finds the defendant guilty as accessory. The prosecution proved that he did shoot the victim, but only did so when forced, having been coerced by his co-defendant. Which brings us to the, at the time, local group leader. Now, the prosecution provided this court with plenty of evidence of the local group's wrongdoings. None of them had as serious and unsettling implications as the final revelation. Defendant Alfred Faltmann, born June 29, 1889, resident of Löwenweg 11, Munich. In the case of the manslaughter of Hans Naumann, considering the overwhelming evidence of your actions and their direct effect, this court finds you guilty of coercion, perjury, and manslaughter. It stands clear beyond reasonable doubt that it was by your independent initiative that Mr. Naumann was shot, a fact of which defendant Hermann Kiebitz was fully aware and which he decided to hide from this court, making him guilty as accessory to this manslaughter by the act of omission. With that, the cost of this trial will be covered by the defendants. Court adjourned.
%. Hermann, investigation 80%, interrogation 100. Hermann Kiebitz, accessory manslaughter, 4 years. Alfred Faltmann, manslaughter, coercion, perjury, 15 years. Karl Schickert, accessory to manslaughter, 4 years. Much better.
I've heard those words many times. The courtroom may change, the faces, the clothes, the crimes. But the words stay the same. I just followed orders. It wasn't an order that ended Mr. Naumann's life. They did. With their cowardice, obedience, pride. They all killed Hans Naumann. Men like Faltmann don't believe they can be punished. They don't think they should be. All were surprised at his silence when the verdict was pronounced. Him, possibly, most of all. He offered no resistance, no counter, no boisterous denial. For possibly the first time in his life, Alfred Faltmann didn't know what to say. Schickert was raving as they brought him out of the courtroom. So what if he pulled the trigger, he yelled. He followed orders. There, those words again. Almost as if he believed them himself. What makes a man lie? Friendship? Loyalty? Fear? What makes a man so obsessed with terms like honor or duty, simply ignore the murder of an innocent man? Not just ignore it. Allow, aid, facilitate it. For he could have stopped it. All he'd have to do was tell the truth. For he had every opportunity to stop it. Instead, he chose to kill an innocent man. They all did. They all knew what they were doing. They all knew they didn't have to. All three of them, through their actions or their inaction, they choose. Miss Naumann cried at the verdict. She thanked us. She even tried to smile. I wouldn't say it ended there for her. I don't think it ever did. And as for our Miss Cutts, the case was her victory. And it did bring her the recognition she deserved. But with recognition also comes attention. But that's a story for another day.
Esther, come on! Hey, 2, 1, ready? Where could you be? Under the table? Cold. Are you behind here? Even colder. No fair. How about in the water? Stop! It's not you.
Oh, right.
I'm really glad I decided to go back and try again. I don't know what changed when I changed when I presented the evidence a new time around. Maybe it was just a bug, or maybe the order of the documents meant something. But I'm really glad I went back and did it again and got to show you, the perfect ending to that. I will admit to using a few hints, and that's why I chose the medium difficulty setting for this game. Just mainly so I had the opportunity to get the best endings possible. No, I know some of y'all would prefer try to go for the hardest options possible, and that's fine, but I play games just to have fun, not to get good or anything like that, and I'm just here to prosecute Nazis and make sure they pay for their crimes. So, we have another case here, but like Fritz Bauer said, that's a story for another day. I'm going to leave this episode off here. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Wiedersehen.